Do you want a set of standing stones like these? Like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell below, and stay tuned to see how they are made and how you can get your own set made by me. For this set of standing stones, I cut out 2x4 inch rectangles. I take my time cutting out the basic shapes with a cheap HOTWIRE foam cutter and a guide I made from craft sticks. I tend to get straighter cuts with the foam cutter, and that is essential when building standing stones that will sit flush against the bases. I use a snap-off knife to carve the rectangles into shapes that resemble standing stones. I want to give them rounded tops, but at the same time, I leave lots of jagged lines to better resemble the appearance of stone. With a Sharpie, I draw spiral designs on each of the standing stones. I use a walnut hollow Versa tool to emboss the spiral design into each piece. This is a heat tool with an interchangeable head, and I found it very useful for carving details into styrofoam. I add texture to each wall with a piece of sanitized asphalt. I've also used a jagged rock or aluminum foil to get a similar texture in the past. I make the bases out of foam core. I use a higher quality foam board as it does not have as much of a tendency to warp. For each standing stone base, I cut out a 2x3 inch rectangle. I then cut each corner of the rectangle off as you see me doing in this video. After that, I take my hobby knife and bevel the edges of the base. Then I do some touch-up cuts at the end that give a more rounded look to the base. In this step, I attach each standing stone to its base with a low temperature hot glue gun. I use white PVA glue to attach sand and small pieces of foam to the base. The small pieces of foam will represent larger rocks on the base, which are simply there to add more visual interest. At this point, I attach each standing stone to a piece of cardboard. This makes it easier to handle when painting with wet paint. Also, don't forget to like this video, and subscribe, and hit the bell below. I liberally paint each standing stone with a black undercoating. This undercoating consists of black craft paint, white PVA glue, gloss varnish, and water. It will help protect each piece and add some stability to the overall build. After the black undercoating is dry, I paint each piece completely in a brown base coat. I don't worry about 100% coverage in this step, as it will add visual interest if some of the black undercoating is showing through. It's hard to see in this video, but I paint the base in an overbrush of alternating beige and burnt sienna. Then I overbrush a medium gray over the standing stone. I take time with a smaller brush to paint larger rocks on the ground with gray as well. When the standing stones are completely dry, I dry brush each piece with a cream or off-white craft paint. This serves as a highlight and brings out a lot of the texture we've added to each piece. I use a brush to cover each piece in a black wash. The black wash I use consists of black India ink, water, gloss varnish, and a drop of dish soap. For this step, I paint splotches of watered down PVA glue onto the standing stone and then sprinkle Woodland Scenic's moss over the glue. I try to imagine how the moss is growing and make sure to apply some to the base as well. After the moss is completely dry, I cover each piece in a matte varnish and then leave it to cure for a day. For my standing stones, I always use the kind that you paint on, as I really like to soak the moss in the varnish. It is a nice trick that will make the moss stiff and more permanently stick to the standing stones. The final step is the static grass. I use dabs of watered down PVA glue and add small patches of static grass to random places on the base. This gives the pieces a more realistic and interesting look. When finished, the standing stones should look something like these. They are a must-have for both Wargames and role-playing games. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon below. So yeah, do you want a set of these standing stones made by me? Follow me on Twitter or Instagram and watch for future giveaways. Links in description. Or you can purchase them from me on my Etsy store or through my eBay. Links below. Also, become my patron and get discounts, rewards, and more giveaways. Anyway, I really appreciate you staying tuned and watching my video. It is a pleasure to show you my process. Feel free to comment, give suggestions, or leave constructive criticism below. I will do my best to respond. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon below.